Behind the golden gates of Buckingham Palace, a secret has been carefully guarded for months. Hidden cameras captured moments never meant for public eyes during the most significant royal event of the century. Now, Prince William and Princess Catherine have made a shocking decision that has palace officials scrambling and royal watchers around the world holding their breath. What they're about to reveal will change how the world sees the British royal family forever. The footage shows raw, unfiltered moments of vulnerability, unexpected humor, and genuine human emotion from people the world thought they knew. But, more importantly, it exposes a side of royal life that protocol demanded remain hidden. The decision to release this intimate footage wasn't made lightly. It came after weeks of heated debates, sleepless nights, and a revelation that would shake the very foundations of royal tradition. What you're about to discover happened behind closed doors during King Charles's coronation will surprise you, move you, and perhaps make you question everything you thought you knew about what it really means to wear the crown. This is the true story of how two young royals chose transparency over tradition, and how their brave decision would either modernize the monarchy forever or threaten its very existence. The morning of King Charles's coronation began like no other in British history. While the world focused on the ceremonial splendor unfolding at Westminster Abbey, few knew about the tiny cameras strategically placed throughout the private royal quarters at Buckingham Palace. These weren't official recording devices meant for historical documentation. They were personal cameras, installed weeks earlier by Prince William himself, with a purpose known only to him and Catherine. William had grown increasingly frustrated with the sanitized version of royal life presented to the public. After years of watching his family navigate personal struggles while maintaining perfect public facades, he wanted to capture something real. The coronation of his father represented a pivotal moment in British royal history, and William felt compelled to document the human side of this grand occasion. Catherine initially hesitated when William shared his plan. She understood the risks involved in recording private family moments, especially during such a significant event. Palace protocol strictly forbade unauthorized documentation of royal activities behind closed doors. The potential consequences could be severe, ranging from public scandal to serious constitutional implications. However, she also recognized her husband's deeper motivation. The idea had begun forming in William's mind months earlier, during one of the many preparatory meetings for the coronation. He sat through endless discussions about ceremony logistics, security protocols, and media coverage, but noticed how little attention was given to the emotional weight of the event. His father was about to become king at age 74, after waiting longer than any heir in British history. This wasn't just a political transition. It was a deeply personal family moment. William remembered his own wedding day and how the official photographs captured beautiful images but missed the nervous laughter, whispered jokes, and tender moments that made the day truly meaningful. He didn't want the same thing to happen with his father's coronation. The prince wanted to preserve the authentic emotions, the unguarded conversations, and the genuine family interactions that would occur away from public view. The cameras were small, almost invisible devices that William had researched extensively. He chose models used by documentary filmmakers, capable of recording high-quality footage while remaining undetectable. Installation required careful planning and absolute secrecy. William personally handled the technical setup, working during early morning hours when staff changes occurred and fewer people moved through the private areas. Catherine helped by mapping out the most meaningful locations within their private quarters. They identified spots where family members typically gathered for informal conversations, areas where emotions were likely to run high, and spaces where authentic moments naturally occurred. The couple understood that not every recorded moment would be suitable for public viewing, but they wanted to capture a comprehensive record of this historic day from a uniquely personal perspective. The decision to proceed required careful consideration of potential consequences. William knew that other family members might feel betrayed if they discovered the recording without prior consent. However, he also believed that the footage could serve a greater purpose in humanizing the royal family and bridging the gap between the monarchy and the modern British public. Catherine provided crucial support by helping William think through the ethical implications of their decision. They established clear guidelines about what types of conversations and moments would remain private regardless of what the cameras captured. Discussions about government matters, personal health information, and sensitive family conflicts would never be shared publicly, even if recorded. The couple also discussed their long-term intentions for the footage. This wasn't about creating entertainment or satisfying public curiosity. They envisioned using selected clips to provide educational insight into royal traditions, showcase the genuine relationships within the family, and demonstrate that beneath the crowns and ceremonies, they remained ordinary people experiencing extraordinary circumstances. As Coronation Day approached, William felt increasingly confident about their decision. Recent public opinion polls suggested that younger generations felt disconnected from the monarchy, viewing it as an outdated institution irrelevant to their lives. The prince believed that showing authentic moments of royal life might help bridge this generational divide and restore public faith in the institution's relevance. Catherine shared her husband's optimism, but remained concerned about potential negative reactions. She worried about how other family members might respond to being recorded without their knowledge, and whether the footage might inadvertently capture moments that could be misinterpreted or taken out of context. Despite these concerns, she supported William's vision and agreed to proceed with their plan. The morning of the coronation, as William made final adjustments to the hidden cameras, he reflected on the historical significance of what they were attempting. No previous generation of royals had possessed the technology to document private family moments with such clarity and detail. They were creating an unprecedented historical record that future generations might study to understand what this pivotal moment truly meant to the family experiencing it. Catherine joined him for a final review of their camera placements, ensuring that each device was properly concealed and functioning correctly. They tested the audio quality and video clarity, making minor adjustments to optimize the recording conditions. The couple felt satisfied that they had created a comprehensive documentation system without compromising anyone's privacy or safety. As family members began arriving at the palace for pre-ceremony preparations, William and Catherine exchanged a meaningful look. They were about to embark on an unprecedented experiment in royal transparency, one that could either revolutionize public understanding of the monarchy or create a scandal that would dominate headlines for months. The first family members to arrive were Princess Anne and her husband, Timothy Lawrence, and immediately noticed the subtle changes in energy between William and Catherine, commenting that they seemed unusually focused and purposeful. Catherine deflected the observation with humor, mentioning that coronation days naturally heightened everyone's awareness and attention to detail. Prince Edward and Sophie arrived shortly afterward, followed by various cousins and extended family members. The private quarters gradually filled with the gentle chaos of a large family preparing for a momentous occasion. Children ran through hallways in their formal attire. Adults discussed last-minute protocol questions, and staff members coordinated final details with military precision. William found himself hyper-aware of every conversation and interaction, knowing that these moments were being preserved for potential future viewing. He noticed details that might have escaped his attention otherwise. His father's nervous habit of adjusting his cufflinks, Catherine's gentle way of calming anxious younger family members, and the mixture of excitement and solemnity that permeated every room. The hidden cameras captured everything with remarkable clarity, from whispered conversations between siblings to spontaneous moments of laughter that broke through the formal atmosphere. William felt increasingly confident that they were documenting something truly valuable, an authentic record of how one of Britain's most significant constitutional events actually felt to the people living through it. As the morning progressed toward the departure time for Westminster Abbey, William noticed his father retreating to a quiet corner for a few moments of solitude. The future king stood silently, gazing out a window toward the crowds gathering along the procession route. William wondered what thoughts occupied his father's mind in those private moments before accepting the crown that would change his life forever. The ceremonial departure from Buckingham Palace unfolded with clockwork precision, but the hidden cameras continued recording the private moments that occurred between public appearances. As family members returned from Westminster Abbey, their formal composure gradually gave way to genuine emotions and unguarded conversations that revealed the human cost of royal duty. King Charles, now officially crowned, appeared both relieved and overwhelmed as he entered the private quarters. The weight of the ceremony had clearly affected him deeply. William watched his father remove the formal crown and set it carefully on a designated table, treating the ancient artifact with reverence while simultaneously seeming eager to escape its physical weight. The newly crowned king's hands trembled slightly as he loosened his ceremonial robes, a detail that the public cameras had missed entirely. Catherine immediately noticed the emotional toll the day had taken on various family members. The younger children, who had maintained perfect behavior during the public ceremony, finally allowed their exhaustion to show. Prince George, despite his young age, had carried himself with remarkable dignity throughout the coronation, but now slumped into a comfortable chair with visible relief. His siblings similarly relaxed their formal posture, creating a stark contrast to their public appearances just hours earlier. The hidden cameras captured intimate conversations that would never have occurred in front of official photographers or television crews. King Charles sought out a quiet moment with William, placing a hand on his son's shoulder and expressing gratitude for his support throughout the challenging preparation period. The conversation revealed the deep emotional bond between father and son, as well as Charles's awareness of the enormous responsibilities he was passing on to the next generation. Catherine found herself comforting several family members who had been moved to tears by the ceremony's emotional weight. The combination of historical significance, family pride, and personal grief for the late Queen Elizabeth created a complex emotional atmosphere that the public ceremony couldn't fully capture. The private footage showed genuine tears, heartfelt embraces, and whispered words of encouragement that demonstrated the family's humanity beneath their royal roles. Prince Harry's presence at the ceremony had created additional emotional complexity for the family. While maintaining appropriate public protocol, the private moments revealed the ongoing tension and sadness surrounding his strained relationships with other family members. The cameras captured brief interactions that showed both the lingering love and the painful distance that characterized these damaged relationships. Camilla, now queen consort, struggled visibly with her new role's emotional weight. Despite years of preparation, she appeared overwhelmed by the reality of her position and the intense public scrutiny that accompanied it. Catherine, drawing from her own experience adapting to royal life, provided gentle support and practical advice about managing the stress and expectations that came with increased royal responsibilities. The footage revealed fascinating details about royal protocol that the public rarely witnessed. Family members discussed the precise timing required for various ceremonial elements, the physical challenges of wearing heavy formal regalia for extended periods, and the mental discipline required to maintain appropriate composure under intense international scrutiny. These conversations provided insight into the professional aspects of royal duty that extended far beyond the glamorous public perception. William found himself particularly moved by watching his children process the day's significance. The hidden cameras captured their questions about royal traditions, their observations about the ceremony's various elements, and their innocent comments about the experience of being part of such a momentous historical event. These unguarded moments revealed the next generation's natural relationship with their royal heritage. The private celebration that followed the public ceremony allowed family members to express emotions that protocol had required them to suppress earlier. King Charles became visibly emotional while reflecting on his mother's legacy and his own hopes for his reign. The cameras captured his struggles with the transition from heir to sovereign, revealing the personal sacrifice inherent and accepting ultimate constitutional responsibility. Staff members moved through the private areas with practiced efficiency, but the hidden cameras also recorded their reactions to the day's events. Many longtime royal employees had served the family for decades and felt genuine emotion about witnessing this historic transition. Their conversations revealed the deep personal relationships that existed between the family and their dedicated support team. The footage documented surprising moments of humor that broke through the day's solemnity. Royal family members shared jokes about ceremonial mishaps, commented playfully on each other's formal attire, and found ways to lighten the emotional atmosphere through gentle teasing and shared laughter. These moments demonstrated that beneath their public roles, they remained a close family capable of finding joy even during serious occasions. Catherine took particular interest in documenting conversations between different generations of the family. The older members shared memories of previous royal ceremonies and offer perspective on the monarchy's evolution over their lifetimes. Younger family members asked questions about traditions and expressed their thoughts about carrying these customs forward into the future. The hidden cameras revealed the physical exhaustion that followed the day's intense demands. Family members discussed the challenges of maintaining perfect posture for hours, the difficulty of managing heavy ceremonial clothing, and the mental fatigue that resulted from constant public scrutiny. These conversations highlighted the professional athleticism required for successful royal appearances. As evening approached, the family gathered for a private meal that bore little resemblance to the formal state banquets associated with royal occasions. The cameras captured genuine family conversation, shared memories of the late Queen Elizabeth, and discussions about the future direction of the monarchy. The relaxed atmosphere allowed personality traits and family dynamics to emerge that were never visible during public events. King Charles used this private time to express his hopes and concerns about his reign. The cameras recorded his reflections on the challenges facing the modern monarchy and his determination to serve the British people effectively. These intimate thoughts revealed the thoughtful consideration and genuine concern that motivated his approach to royal duty. William and Catherine exchanged meaningful looks throughout the evening, aware that their hidden cameras were capturing unprecedented insight into royal family life. They felt increasingly confident that the footage would serve their intended purpose of humanizing the monarchy while maintaining appropriate respect for the institution's dignity and importance. The day's emotional intensity created numerous moments of genuine vulnerability that would have been impossible to capture through official channels. Family members supported each other through difficult emotions, shared personal concerns about their changing roles, and demonstrated the deep affection that sustained them through the challenges of public life. As the evening concluded and family members began departing for their respective homes, William and Catherine prepared to review their unprecedented documentation of this historic day. They understood that the footage they had captured represented both an extraordinary opportunity and a significant responsibility that would require careful consideration before any public sharing could occur. The weeks following the coronation brought unexpected challenges as William and Catherine began the delicate process of reviewing their secretly recorded footage. What they discovered among the hours of material far exceeded their original expectations, revealing layers of family complexity and institutional pressure that they hadn't fully anticipated capturing. The footage contained moments of extraordinary beauty alongside scenes that raised serious questions about their decision to proceed with public release. Catherine took responsibility for the initial review process, spending countless hours in a secure private office, carefully examining every minute of recorded material. She created detailed notes about each significant moment, categorizing footage based on emotional content, family dynamics, and potential public interest. The process proved more emotionally draining than she had expected, as viewing the private moments forced her to relive the coronation day's intense emotional atmosphere. The most powerful footage captured King Charles during unguarded moments of reflection and vulnerability. The cameras had recorded him sitting alone in his private study, removing his formal crown and running his hands through his hair while processing the weight of his new responsibilities. These images showed a side of the monarch that the public had never witnessed, revealing the human cost of accepting ultimate constitutional duty. William joined Catherine for the more sensitive review sessions, particularly those involving family conflicts or emotional conversations. They discovered footage of heated discussions between family members about protocol disagreements, personal tensions that had simmered beneath the surface during the public ceremony, and private expressions of frustration about media coverage and public expectations. These moments raised difficult questions about the ethics of recording family conflicts without consent. The couple faced their first major dilemma when reviewing footage that captured a private conversation between King Charles and Prince Harry. The cameras had recorded an emotional exchange where both men expressed their pain about their strained relationship, their hopes for eventual reconciliation, and their shared grief about Queen Elizabeth's passing. While the conversation revealed genuine love between father and son, it also contained sensitive personal information that could potentially damage both men if shared publicly. Catherine advocated for maintaining strict privacy around the most sensitive family discussions, regardless of their potential public interest. She argued that the footage's value lay in demonstrating the family's humanity rather than exposing their vulnerabilities. William initially struggled with this position, feeling that some degree of transparency about family challenges might help the public better understand and relate to royal experiences. The review process revealed unexpected technical challenges as well. Several cameras had captured conversations with poor audio quality, making it difficult to understand the context of various interactions. Other footage showed family members in unflattering moments of exhaustion or distress that would serve no positive purpose if shared publicly. William and Catherine realized they needed to develop clear criteria for selecting material that would achieve their goals without causing harm. They established a series of ethical guidelines for their selection process. No footage would be used that revealed government secrets or constitutional information. Personal health discussions would remain completely private. Family conflicts would only be shown if they demonstrated positive resolution or mutual respect. Any material that could be misinterpreted or taken out of context would be excluded from public release consideration. The couple consulted privately with trusted advisors about the legal and constitutional implications of their documentation project. They learned that while no specific laws prohibited their recording activities within their private quarters, the public release of certain types of royal footage could potentially create constitutional complications or security concerns. These consultations helped them understand the broader implications of their decision. Catherine discovered footage that captured beautiful moments of family unity and genuine affection that would serve their original purpose perfectly. The cameras had recorded spontaneous embraces between family members, shared laughter during stressful moments, and expressions of mutual support that demonstrated the strength of their relationships. These scenes could help the public understand that beneath their formal roles, the royal family maintained genuine human connections. The review process also revealed the extraordinary professionalism of royal staff members, who had maintained perfect service standards while managing their own emotions about the historic transition. The footage showed staff members working behind the scenes with dedication and pride, often going far beyond their required duties to ensure the day's success. These scenes highlighted the collaborative effort required for successful royal events. William became particularly interested in footage that captured the younger generation's natural interaction with royal traditions. The cameras had recorded his children asking thoughtful questions about ceremonial elements, expressing their own opinions about royal customs, and demonstrating their developing understanding of their future responsibilities. These moments showed how royal heritage passed naturally from one generation to the next. The couple faced increasing pressure to share their decision-making process with other family members, particularly King Charles and Queen Camilla. However, they worried that premature disclosure might result in demands to destroy the footage before they could properly evaluate its potential value. William and Catherine decided to complete their review process before approaching family members with their proposal for selective public release. Catherine developed an innovative approach for presenting the footage that would respect privacy while achieving their transparency goals. She proposed creating short documentary segments that focused on specific themes rather than chronological events. Topics might include royal traditions, family relationships, the emotional aspects of public service, and the personal costs of constitutional responsibility. The review process revealed fascinating details about royal protocol that the public rarely understood. The cameras had captured conversations about the precise reasoning behind various ceremonial elements, discussions about adapting ancient traditions for modern circumstances, and explanations of the constitutional significance underlying seemingly simple royal actions. This educational material could help the public develop deeper appreciation for royal duties. William and Catherine discovered that their footage contained unprecedented documentation of how royal family members actually experienced major constitutional events. Previous historical records focused on external observations and official accounts, but their cameras had captured the internal reality of participating in ceremonies that would be remembered for centuries. This perspective had never been available to historians or the public. The couple also found themselves reviewing footage that revealed the international scope of royal responsibilities. The cameras had captured conversations with foreign dignitaries, discussions about diplomatic implications of various ceremonial choices, and expressions of awareness about the global attention focused on British royal events. These scenes demonstrated the complexity of modern royal duties beyond domestic considerations. As their review process continued, William and Catherine began developing specific criteria for selecting footage that would achieve their goals while minimizing potential negative consequences. They focused on material that showed genuine emotion without revealing personal secrets, demonstrated family unity without hiding normal human challenges, and illustrated royal traditions without compromising security or constitutional principles. The couple realized that their documentation project had evolved far beyond their original concept. Instead of simply recording family moments, they had created a unique historical resource that could provide unprecedented insight into the monarchy's modern reality. This recognition brought both excitement about the footage's potential value and increased awareness of their responsibility to handle it appropriately. The moment of truth arrived when William and Catherine finally decided to approach King Charles with their proposal to release selected footage from the Coronation Day recordings. They had spent weeks preparing their presentation, carefully selecting clips that demonstrated their vision while respecting family privacy and institutional dignity. The conversation would determine whether their ambitious transparency project could move forward or be permanently shelved to protect traditional royal protocols. Catherine suggested scheduling the discussion during one of their regular private family meetings, hoping that the informal setting would encourage open dialogue rather than defensive reactions. William agreed, but both felt nervous about revealing their secret recording project to the newly crowned king. They understood that Charles might feel betrayed by their decision to document private family moments without his knowledge or consent. The couple prepared a comprehensive presentation that included examples of the footage they hoped to release, detailed explanations of their editorial guidelines, and clear statements about their motivation for the project. They wanted Charles to understand that their goal was strengthening public support for the monarchy rather than creating entertainment or satisfying curiosity about private royal life. When the conversation began, William took responsibility for explaining their secret recording activities, acknowledging that they had violated traditional expectations about family privacy. He emphasized their careful consideration of ethical implications and their commitment to protecting sensitive information while sharing moments that could help the public better understand and appreciate royal service. King Charles listened silently as his son described the extent of their documentation project, occasionally asking clarifying questions about specific technical details or security implications. Catherine provided additional context about their review process and the strict criteria they had developed for selecting appropriate material for potential public release. The king's initial reaction mixed disappointment about the secretive nature of their project with curiosity about what they had captured. He expressed concern about the precedent they might set for future documentation of private royal activities, questioning whether other family members might feel comfortable attending future events if they suspected hidden recording devices. William and Catherine showed Charles selected clips that demonstrated their editorial approach, focusing on moments that revealed positive aspects of royal family life without compromising anyone's dignity or privacy. The footage included scenes of genuine family affection, behind-the-scenes glimpses of ceremonial preparation, and conversations that illustrated the thoughtful consideration family members gave to their public responsibilities. Charles found himself surprisingly moved by some of the footage, particularly scenes that captured his own emotional responses to accepting the crown and the support he received from family members during the transition. He admitted that seeing himself from this external perspective provided valuable insight into how his actions and emotions might appear to others. The conversation revealed fundamental differences in generational approaches to royal transparency. Charles, shaped by decades of traditional protocol, instinctively favored maintaining strict boundaries between public and private royal life. William and Catherine, influenced by modern communication expectations, believed that selective transparency could strengthen public support for the monarchy. Catherine played a crucial role in bridging these generational perspectives, helping Charles understand how carefully managed transparency might actually protect royal privacy by satisfying public curiosity through controlled release of appropriate material. She argued that refusing all transparency often led to increased speculation and invasion attempts by external media organizations. The discussion expanded to include broader questions about the monarchy's future relationship with media and public communication. Charles expressed his concerns about losing control over royal messaging and the potential for misinterpretation of family interactions. William countered that strategic engagement might provide better control than passive resistance to public interest. King Charles requested time to review the footage privately before making any decisions about public release. He wanted to understand the full scope of what had been recorded and evaluate the potential consequences of various disclosure options. William and Catherine agreed to provide him with complete access to their edited selections while maintaining security over the raw footage. The couple also revealed their consultation with legal and constitutional experts who had confirmed that their documentation activities fell within acceptable boundaries as long as government secrets and security information remained protected. This professional validation helped address some of Charles's concerns about potential constitutional complications. Catherine shared her research into public opinion trends that suggested younger generations felt increasingly disconnected from royal traditions and questioned the monarchy's relevance to modern life. She presented evidence that strategic transparency might help bridge this generational divide and restore public faith in the institution's value. The conversation included discussion about international implications of increased royal transparency. Charles worried about how foreign governments and media might react to unprecedented access to private royal moments. William argued that other modern monarchies had successfully balanced transparency with dignity, suggesting that Britain could lead rather than follow in developing new approaches. Family dynamics played a significant role in their discussion, as Charles expressed concern about how other family members might react to learning about the secret recordings. He worried particularly about Princess Anne's likely disapproval and Prince Edward's concerns about precedent setting. William and Catherine acknowledged these challenges but maintained confidence in their ability to address family concerns through careful explanation of their motivations. The king asked detailed questions about their technical security measures, wanting assurance that the footage remained completely secure from external access. He was particularly concerned about potential hacking attempts by hostile organizations seeking embarrassing royal content. William provided comprehensive information about their digital security protocols and storage procedures. Charles also inquired about their long-term vision for the project, questioning whether this represented a one-time experiment or the beginning of ongoing documentation activities. Catherine explained their hope that successful selective release might establish new standards for royal communication while maintaining appropriate privacy protections. The discussion revealed Charles's deep awareness of his responsibility to protect the monarchy's institutional integrity while adapting to changing public expectations. He struggled with balancing his personal discomfort about the secret recordings against his recognition that traditional approaches might not effectively engage modern audiences. William emphasized their commitment to family unity, assuring his father that they would abandon the project entirely rather than proceed without family support. This assurance helped Charles understand that their primary loyalty remained to family relationships rather than public relations objectives. Catherine addressed Charles's concerns about media reaction by presenting their plan for controlled release through trusted journalistic partners who would respect their editorial boundaries and avoid sensationalizing the content. She had researched successful examples of royal documentary projects that had achieved positive public reception without compromising institutional dignity. The conversation concluded with Charles agreeing to spend additional time reviewing their footage and consulting with trusted advisors about the proposal's implications. He promised to provide his decision within 2 weeks, allowing sufficient time for thoughtful consideration of all relevant factors. As William and Catherine left the meeting, they felt cautiously optimistic about their father's response. While he had expressed legitimate concerns about their approach, he had also demonstrated openness to their arguments and genuine interest in the footage they had created. The success of their transparency project now depended on Charles's ability to balance traditional royal values with modern communication needs. 2 weeks after their pivotal conversation with King Charles, William and Catherine received word that he was ready to discuss his decision about their coronation footage project. The anticipation had been nearly unbearable as they waited to learn whether months of work would result in a revolutionary moment of royal transparency or would be quietly shelved to preserve traditional protocols. Charles had spent the intervening time conducting extensive consultations with constitutional experts, senior palace advisors, and trusted family members. He had also carefully reviewed every piece of footage that William and Catherine had selected for potential release, paying particular attention to moments that featured his own emotional responses and private conversations. The meeting took place in Charles's private study, the same room where some of the most compelling footage had been recorded during Coronation Day. The irony of the location was not lost on any of the participants as they gathered to determine the future of their unprecedented documentation project. King Charles began by acknowledging the courage and innovation that William and Catherine had demonstrated in creating their secret recording project. He admitted that his initial shock about their activities had gradually transformed into appreciation for their thoughtful approach to selecting and presenting the material. However, also emphasized the serious constitutional and family considerations that had influenced his decision-making process. The king revealed that he had consulted with former Prime Minister and constitutional scholar to understand the potential implications of releasing private royal footage. These discussions had confirmed that while no legal barriers prevented their proposed disclosure, the precedent they would establish could have far-reaching consequences for future royal privacy and institutional independence. Catherine felt her heart racing as Charles approached the crucial moment of revealing his decision. She had prepared herself for disappointment, understanding that the king's institutional responsibilities might outweigh his personal interest in their project. William sat quietly beside her, equally anxious about learning their father's verdict. Charles surprised them both by expressing his qualified support for moving forward with a limited release of selected footage. However, his approval came with specific conditions that would need to be met before any public disclosure could occur. He wanted additional family consultation, enhanced security measures, and careful consideration of international diplomatic implications. The king's decision had been influenced significantly by his review of footage that showed positive family dynamics and genuine moments of human connection during the coronation ceremony. He recognized that these scenes could help the public understand the personal sacrifice and emotional weight involved in royal service, potentially increasing appreciation for the monarchy's role in modern British society. William felt overwhelming relief at his father's decision to support their project, even with attached conditions. He had worried that Charles might demand destruction of all footage to prevent any possibility of future disclosure. The conditional approval provided an opportunity to prove that their approach could strengthen rather than damage public respect for the royal family. Catherine immediately began discussing the additional conditions that Charles wanted to implement. The king requested formal approval from Princess and Prince Edward before any footage featuring them could be released. He also wanted assurance that Queen Camilla felt comfortable with the material that showed her adjustment to her new role as queen consort. The conversation revealed that Charles had been particularly moved by footage showing his own emotional responses to accepting the crown and receiving family support during the transition. He admitted that seeing these moments from an external perspective had helped him better understand the symbolic importance of his role and the genuine affection that sustained him through challenging responsibilities. King Charles also shared his strategic thinking about using the footage to address declining public support for the monarchy among younger generations. His advisors had presented research suggesting that traditional royal communication methods were increasingly ineffective with audiences under 40 years old. The selective release of authentic behind-the-scenes content might provide a crucial bridge to these disengaged demographics. William and Catherine learned that Charles had already begun preliminary discussions with trusted media partners about potential distribution methods for their footage. He wanted to ensure that any release occurred through reputable channels that would respect their editorial boundaries and avoid sensationalizing the content for commercial purposes. The king revealed his concern about international reaction to increased British royal transparency, particularly from other European monarchies that maintained stricter privacy protocols. He had consulted with Foreign Office representatives about potential diplomatic implications and received assurance that selective disclosure was unlikely to create serious international complications. Catherine was surprised to learn that Charles had shown selected clips to Queen Camilla, who had provided enthusiastic support for the project. Camilla had been particularly impressed by footage that showed her receiving emotional support from family members as she adjusted to her new role. She felt that these scenes could help the public understand the human challenges involved in accepting increased royal responsibilities. The conversation included detailed discussion about timing for the potential release of their footage. Charles preferred waiting several months after the coronation to allow the immediate excitement to subside before introducing their behind-the-scenes perspective. This timing would also provide additional opportunity for careful editing and preparation of accompanying educational material. William and Catherine presented their vision for creating multiple short documentary segments rather than a single comprehensive program. This approach would allow them to focus on specific themes while maintaining viewer interest and avoiding information overload. Topics might include royal traditions, family relationships, public service motivation, and the personal costs of constitutional responsibility. Charles expressed particular interest in footage that demonstrated the collaborative relationship between royal family members and their dedicated staff. He felt that showing the professional teamwork required for successful royal events might help the public develop greater appreciation for the skilled individuals who supported royal activities behind the scenes. The meeting concluded with agreement to proceed with their transparency project under Charles's specified conditions. William and Catherine felt tremendous satisfaction about achieving their goal of gaining family support for selective disclosure of their coronation footage. Their months of careful planning and ethical consideration had resulted in approval for what could become a revolutionary moment in royal communication. As they prepared to begin the complex process of final editing and family consultation, William and Catherine reflected on how their secret recording project had evolved into something far more significant than they had originally envisioned. Their footage had the potential to change public understanding of royal life while strengthening support for the monarchy's continued relevance. The successful conclusion of their negotiations with King Charles marked the beginning of a new phase in their project. They now faced the challenge of meeting his conditions while maintaining their artistic vision and achieving their goal of humanizing the royal family for a modern audience. The coming months would determine whether their unprecedented experiment in royal transparency would succeed in strengthening public support for the monarchy or would create unforeseen complications that might damage the institution they sought to protect. Their journey from secret recording to conditional approval had demonstrated the possibility of balancing traditional royal values with modern communication expectations. William and Catherine had proven that thoughtful innovation could coexist with institutional respect, potentially establishing new standards for royal engagement with an increasingly curious and demanding public.